Welcome to iPULSE. I'm Maria Paula Costa.
And I'm Michelle Benazar.
Starting with international news, Japan is conducting a search and rescue mission after Typhoon Hagibis hit. The typhoon came as Japan was hosting the Rugby World Cup for the first time. The storm made landfall last Saturday. Japan suffered extremely flooding and landslides that have left 49 people dead, 200 injured, and 14 missing people. One of the dead, a 77-year-old woman, did not die in the storm, but fell 40 feet from the rescue helicopter when rescuers had failed to secure the safety hook to the woman's harness.
Moving on to local news. On October 13, 2019, a loud boom sparked at the Boca Town Center Mall at around 3 p.m. People were very concerned with this because they thought there was an active shooter at the mall. Even though police are still investigating what happened, there was no alleged shooter. Quote, "We have not identified any suspects, no gunshot or gunfire," end quote, said Chief Alexander.
Steve Mnuchin, Treasury Secretary, said Monday that he expects the mid-December rounds of tariffs on China to go up if no deal between the U.S. and China can be reached before then. Mnuchin said on CNBC, quote, "Have every expectation if there's no deal, those tariffs would go in place, but I expect we'll have a deal," end quote.
Following with some Hollywood news, actor Liam Hemsworth and actress Madison were spotted in West Village Thursday night enjoying every bit of each other, from a romantic dinner for two, holding hands, in which ultimately led to a midnight makeout. It has been known from his past relationship with Miley Cyrus that Hemsworth is not afraid of a little PDA, though this isn't the first time that Brown has exposed her attraction for Hemsworth. In an interview about 4 months ago, Brown said, quote, "I could never marry him. I'm too insecure," said Brown in a talk show. "I would just be like, you're too attractive. You're never allowed to leave the house," end quote.
In some heartwarming news, a rescue dog in training named Justice from Brooksville beat out more than 300 contestants from over 35 states and 27 countries to claim her spot in a pet calendar that celebrates and benefits disabled animals. Justice was found in the middle of the road when she was only a puppy by Sega Legacy Rescue. From the trauma Justice had as a puppy, she was left paralyzed from the waist down, resulting in amputation of her back, legs, and tail. Now that she is better, Justice is training to become a therapy dog. Justice will appear in the 2020 Walking Pets calendar, which proceeds will be donated to Handicapped Pets Foundation. The calendar costs $12.95 and can be ordered by calling 888-253-0777 for an expected delivery date of mid-November.
Stay tuned for more iPULSE news coming up.
Hello, I'm Brian Ryder.
And I'm Jordan Serlin.
A woman from Naples left the exit of the private plane she was on and was struck by the propeller at Key West International Airport on October 13th. The pilot exited the plane before her to check on a mechanical issue while the plane was still running. No one has confirmed what these mechanical issues were. The woman's arm and foot were severed. From there, she was taken to the Lower Keys Medical Center on Stock Island. Once she reached Stock Island, she was airlifted in stable condition to the Ryder Trauma Center in Miami. The Florida Highway Patrol is currently handling the investigation.
On Saturday evening at the Deerfield Township Harvest Festival in New Jersey, a 10-year-old girl died after being ejected from one of the amusement park rides. The state police released a statement saying the young girl was ejected from the ride called Extreme. Extreme is a Wisdom Super Sizzler amusement park ride. The victim has not been identified. She was airlifted to Cooper Hospital, where she was pronounced dead at 7:20 p.m. on Saturday.
Last Friday, a Boca Raton woman was reunited with her dog. After 12 years, Catherine Strange lost her dog, Duchess, in February of 2007. Duchess was found under a shed in Pennsylvania and was taken to an animal shelter where a microchip revealed that Strange was the owner. Strange was contacted by the shelter and drove 18 hours to take Duchess home.
TF Securities analyst says Apple's new budget iPhone will launch in the first quarter of 2020 for $399, aiming to attract customers who were still using the iPhone 6 or 6S due to its similar features. The upcoming model will be more affordable, including the same processor that's in the new iPhone 11. Apple spokesperson was not immediately available to comment on the upcoming launch, though it is rumored that there will be able to reuse parts from old phones while upgrading some of the internal components, like the processor and camera. It will be offered in silver, space gray, and in red.
Houston Rockets general manager Daryl Morey has come under fire in recent weeks after he tweeted his support for pro-democracy protests occurring in Hong Kong. Several Chinese companies, including Tencent and Anita, have expressed extreme disinterest in Morey's support for Hong Kong, which has led to both companies threatening to cut their ties to the NBA. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has supported Morey's comments, as he said, quote, "We would not apologize for Daryl using his freedom of expression, but we feel we should apologize as we do not want our brand to be causing harm and upsetting millions of our fans."
In entertainment news, on Saturday, Tyler Perry had what seemed to be all of Black Hollywood travel to Atlanta to celebrate the grand opening of his Tyler Perry Studios. Not only is it the first ever Black-owned film studio, it is also 100% owned by Perry. Celebrities that attended this opening included Oprah Winfrey, Halle Berry, Beyonce, and Jay-Z. Tyler Perry said, quote, "When I built my studio, I built it in a neighborhood that is one of the poorest Black neighborhoods in Atlanta, so that Black young kids could see that a Black man did that, and they could do it too. We continue to celebrate Perry and all of his accomplishments as we wait and see what comes next."
Stay tuned for more iPULSE after this.
Welcome to iPULSE. I'm Mark Womaker.
And I'm Taryn Super.
On October 13th, shoppers evacuated from Town Center Mall due to reports of active shooter. The mall was under lockdown as police investigate reports of a shooting. According to the Boca Police Department, quote, "Customers at the shopping mall in Florida locked themselves in the back of stores or fled to safety after screams of a suspected shooter were heard," end quote. There wasn't any confirmation that any shots were fired or that anyone had a gun, according to the Boca Police Department.
On Friday, October 11th, Miami police arrested a 21-year-old man who previously detained this year in the incident related to allegations of sexual battery and video voyeurism. According to the police department of Miami, Joka Ortez was arrested for the first time this year on January 8th for allegedly putting a phone under a woman's skirt. A female victim reported that she met him on a dating website and decided to meet with the suspect in person. Mr. Ortiz picked her up and drove her to Miami-Dade County Park. When they stopped, he forced her to have intercourse, but she was able to push him off and demanded him to take her home. At the moment, Joka Ortiz is in prison and waiting for trial that will happen in the coming month.
Famous Korean actor and singer Choi Jin-ri, best known as Sully of SM entertainment girl group FX, was found dead in her apartment on Monday, October 14th. She was found by her manager after having a hard time contacting her around 6:30 p.m. Korean time on Sunday, October 13th. Once the Seongnam fire station arrived on the scene, she had already passed away. The cause of her death has not been determined and is still under investigation. Sully debuted as a member of a girl group FX in 2009. However, in 2014, she took a mental health hiatus until 2015 when she officially left the group, becoming a full-time actress. Her death has had a massive effect on the K-pop fan community. We send our condolences to her friends and family.
On October 10th, hundreds of migrants have been camped for weeks on end on the bridge that is located between Matamoros, Mexico and Brownsville, Texas, according to NBC. Matamoros is a city well known for its cartel, which controls human trafficking and gang violence. The asylum seekers have been camped out on this dangerous side of the border for a while, which is what led to the authorities closing the heavily secured border crossing, according to witnesses.
Last Friday, the U.S. agreed to hold off a 25% to 30% tariff increase on China imports that were reportedly due to come this Tuesday. Tensions are still high as the U.S. government and the Chinese government have been locked in negotiations over tariffs on U.S. imports and Chinese imports. U.S. Treasury Chief Steve Mnuchin has warned China that if the trade deal is not finalized, a tariff of $156 billion on Chinese imports will be imposed on December 15th.
Kipchoge, a Kenyan runner, made history by being the first person ever to run a marathon in less than 2 hours. Kipchoge barely broke the long-lasting 2-hour barrier by crossing the finish line at 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 40 seconds. The business who sponsored the race, Enos, tried to ensure success for Kipchoge by having the race in Vienna, Austria, where the weather and altitude was ideal. As a result, it will not be considered a world record. Regardless of it not being an official world record, Kipchoge and runners around the world celebrated the large accomplishment.
Thank you and see you next week.
For more news, pick up a copy of the iPULSE or tune in on www.linipulse.org.